Glad to see everybody here tonight. Chuck will lead us in an invitation song in just a few minutes. In Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, we have recorded the teaching of Jesus while he was here on earth. And when we read the Gospels, we find that Jesus covered a whole list of topics. And all of them are life lessons, how to live a godly life, and how to glorify God the Father. In Matthew 22, Jesus was asked a question by a Pharisee lawyer. And I'll begin reading in verse 35 of chapter 22, Matthew. Then one of them, a lawyer, asked him a question, testing him and saying, "Teacher, which is the great commandment in the law?" Jesus said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and great commandment, and the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself." You know, Jesus' answer covered it all. Even today. If we love God with all our hearts, we'll want to obey him. And we'll want to do everything in our power to please him. If we love our fellow man, we will want what's best for him. We'll have compassion on our fellow man, and we will serve them to the glory of God, not to ourselves. You know, I have a feeling since this lawyer, it says that the lawyer was testing Jesus, that was probably not the response the lawyer was expecting. Now, he may have been wanting a different answer from Jesus so he could accuse him of something. But the way Jesus answered, the lawyer couldn't deny what he said. He couldn't question it. And in the latter part of this chapter, and in Luke's account, it says that no one dared to question him. Now we know that Jesus loved God. He proved that. And he wanted to please God and whatever it took, and he wanted to glorify God through him. And in these Gospels and in Jesus' teaching, he was teaching us how to do that too. In Matthew 7, verse 22, Jesus had already said that the ones entering the kingdom of heaven would be those that did the will of his Father in heaven. He also said in Matthew 10:32 that if we confess him before men, he would confess us before his Father in heaven. And that's a huge, huge blessing right there. And in Matthew 11, beginning in verse 27, Jesus gives us his invitation. And I'm going to read those verses. "All things have been delivered to me by my Father.